Another intense heat wave will grip the south and southeastern interior over the next week or so. Even areas like Adelaide are going to feel bursts of this intense heat, with on Friday getting to the high 30s and next week in the 40s. Unfortunately, this is also increasing the risk of fire danger. And think about it, we've had two now intense and prolonged heat waves already this summer. The first one that started on Boxing Day was record-breaking. Now we have this one. Doesn't quite look record-breaking, but does look exceptionally hot. That means that fire season across the southeast to the south interior is going to be very prolonged. So with this heat wave, we have widespread 30 to 40 degree heat lasting about a week or so for much of the south and the southeast interior. That's the main areas that are affected. The heat itself derives from the Pilbara, Kimberley, and the Northern Territory and is being funneled across South Australia, parts of Queensland, New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania with northerly winds. It's going to be exceptionally hot for a long period of time. Here's an example of that. At Albury, we're seeing temperatures rising to 40 degrees this weekend and staying at or near 40 or even above 40 degrees until next Thursday, and it's still well above average. But looking like next Friday is when we're going to start to see some relief with the stronger southerly change coming through. Cooper Pedy, meanwhile, floating in the mid-40s this weekend and into next week, and even up to near record-breaking temperatures. Not quite, though. We need to get to around 47, 48 degrees for that. And for places like Mildura and Swan Hill, consecutive days in the mid-40s. Very prolonged and very intense. Now, we do have a cool change coming to the southern coast on Saturday. A dry southerly hitting you in Adelaide in the morning before dawn, and Melbourne probably sometime in the late morning or early afternoon. Then a gusty cool change for Tasmania throughout the day. But north of the ranges, it's going to remain very hot. Meanwhile, flooding rain will continue in tropical Queensland as well as the Northern Territory. Now, it'll shift away from Queensland on Saturday into Sunday and then make its focus on the top end, bringing relief from these hot temperatures we've seen. Follow this low-pressure trough. We can see heavy rain showers and storms on Friday moving with the trough into the Gulf of Carpentaria. What's causing that? Well, there's actually a bit of a mid-level disturbance there. It's the remnants of ex-tropical cyclone Penny that's doing this at the moment. Which is quite interesting, because by the time we get to Saturday, we'll see those rain showers and storms shift from Queensland to the Northern Territory's top end. In Darwin, it's lining up for you on Sunday. You can see that heavy rain coming in a bit more of a northerly direction. So that means we could even see some monsoonal type falls coming through, but only briefly. By Monday and Tuesday, it looks like we'll see some hotter skies established once again. Now, that system will then move offshore, and we could even see redevelopment of the system formerly known as Penny. It might not be called Penny again, but it does look like we will see at least a tropical low, maybe even a cyclone in the Timor Sea or even the Indian Ocean next week. It doesn't look like it's going to be posing that much of a threat to the Australian mainland, however. In terms of rainfall totals, well, widespread 50 to 150 millimeters for parts of the top end, including in and around the Darwin area, dropping those temperatures nicely, and widespread 25 millimeters for Queensland's far north tropics. But of course, under thunderstorms, expect locally higher totals, and for instance, potentially over 150 millimeters.
Interesting. Now, this got a little wet last night. My three dances, the third coming of the three dances in the cottage garden, adding up to the 360 degrees in the circle. Riley's triangle, Penny, Owen, Lily, and Riley in the center. And Riley's supermoon on Riley's Manic Monday, 21st of January 2019. Perth in Western Australia. So, a hot week forecast for Canberra. I thought we'll come up to real time and see what's happening. So I'll press stop on here. There, and now we should come up to real time. Okay, and now if I reverse, so it's 10:06 a.m. Yeah, that's now 9:06 if you're in Queensland, and it's Saturday. So we are 9 days. Today's the 12th, so we're 9 days away from the 21st. So we'll go back, and we'll see what the current weather is. Here we go, this is the current weather. We'll go back a bit further. Okay, and then all we need is some volume.
Sky News weather online at skyweather.com.au.
Well, Adelaide reached scorching hot conditions on Friday, reaching a top of 38 degrees. This beautiful shot of the sunset last night, beautiful in Brighton there. In fact, it was hot through most parts of the southern parts of the country, though we have seen a cool change move through over the southeast, including Geelong. You can see there a cloudy start for the day there. But as I mentioned, that southerly has started to cool some temperatures around the southeast parts of the country. But let's take a look at the current temperatures at the moment. A cooler day expected for Adelaide today, heading for a top of just 32 degrees. Right now, 25.8 degrees. Also a cooler day for Melbourne and also Hobart, currently sitting at a top of 20.8 degrees. Well, let's take a look at that southerly and also those winds and what they're doing. As you can see there, the southerly moving right across the southern parts of South Australia and also the south of Victoria there as well. So cooling temperatures where you see the shade of blue, that's really where the cool change has hit. But as you can see there, it's still very hot in North Victoria, and that change did not reach the ACT or New South Wales either. So we are heading for very hot temperatures there again today. But let's take a look at the fire weather warning now. Because of those extremely hot temperatures in northern Victoria, we are expecting severe fire danger for the Mallee and also the northern country districts for today. And that's due to that very extreme hot temperature that we are seeing at the moment. On a very different note though, across New South Wales and parts of the ACT, we did see thunderstorms and also some hail hit on Friday afternoon and evening. You can see the hail there. Quite spectacular, some of these vision that we are getting through there. If we take a look though, we're seeing Yass recorded hail a size of about 4 centimetres there. We also had some heavy rainfalls, 26 millimetres fell in 30 minutes at Goulburn Airport there. Also some quite strong wind gusts too, 170 kilometres per hour recorded at Cobar Airport. And also golf ball sized hail at Holder and Duffy in the ACT. However, not everywhere in the ACT did get affected by these storms. Canberra, in fact, only recorded 2.2 millimetres of rain in the gauge there. Very different in Katoomba, 35.2 millimetres caught there. And in Goulburn, 48 millimetres, which looked something like this yesterday afternoon. You can see those small hailstones falling there. But now let's take a look at the radar on Friday, where you can see that the heavy rain did fall mainly around the ranges and just some light falls along the coast there as it starts to move off towards the sea. But if we take a look at the forecast rain, well, there doesn't appear to be much around. In fact, it's looking quite clear in New South Wales, and it's going to be a hot day ahead for New South Wales and ACT, and that heat will continue to build. Now over to Queensland. Well, the tropics have seen quite a large amount of rain over the past month or so. We can see from the radar from Friday morning, we did see a bit of rain over the tropics there, and heading over into the Gulf there, we did see some rain. But in terms of what we can expect flooding wise, because of all the rain that we have had, the rivers did peak. Both the Connors and Isaac River did peak last night. However, the flooding is now easing for both of those rivers. Checking out the forecast rain for Queensland, though, showers easing in Queensland, but they will be picking up though in the top end. So we can expect some showers, even rain forecast for Darwin in the coming week. Now this final shot to finish on for now. This is some sea mist that was in Bondi this morning. The second day we've had that thanks to the very humid conditions. Of course, we've got much more coming up, including your national forecast.
I noticed a mountain in there that looks triangular. A bit like what I've done for Riley. And there too. Triangle boy, Riley. And the cottage garden, that's at Western Park in Canberra. That's why the dancers are named Angel, Cesar and Marcos. It's because there's a connection to Cuba. And they are the triplets, the identical triplet ballet dancers. So the supermoon on Riley's Manic Monday is 9 days away. And I noticed something else there, that is the temperature in Sydney. In the last report, the temperature in Sydney was 23.6. And this time it was Canberra that's 23.6. And 236, that's the value of the full name of the man whose house I found in Vaucluse in Sydney. And Vaucluse is the suburb with the lighthouse and the old cemetery up on the hill. It's the suburb and the cliffs, the coastal cliff walk. That is the place that connects, I feel it connects to Western Park. It's like a energetic connection or a magical connection between Vaucluse in Sydney and Western Park in Canberra. Western equals 96, and the same as Western Park, where the hailstorm was yesterday with a golf ball sized hail in Duffy and Holder. Western Park is spelt the same way, Weston, and Western equals 96. It has the same value as O'Reilly, the Irish surname, and that's where Riley comes from. Riley equals 69, and Geraldton is 96, so it would have been tempting to go with Geraldton, but I went with Perth for other reasons. Every rose has its thorn. Even the thorny bush has its beautiful flower. Something along those lines. And yeah, so for 236, 23.6 in Sydney, and then the next hour it's moved to Canberra. I know that kind of reflects what I've been thinking about the connection between Western Park and Vaucluse in Sydney. So let's come up to real time. I've already taped this, so there's no point watching it again. It's just the rainfall outlook. And this story is tragic. This is the young guy that was killed in the avalanche in Austria. Not good.
All your favorites. Your wish is on demand. Woo!
It was paradise.
I'm here to lead you.